Hello and welcome back to SOTA 2 Tech Tips. I wanted to give a quick rundown on the editing tools available in Photos and in your camera because we are using those for science class homework tonight. So we'll start out by going to Photos. Okay. Here are some of the images that we use during class, right? Images of everyday objects that are a little bit surprising because of their angle or because of their use of light or their use of vivid colors. Okay. In particular, I think I am going to make use of this one. All right. We've got a handle on the first aid cabinet, and it has a variety of things that are working well for it right now. Right now, it's a close-up. It's an interesting angle on something that is so normal and everyday that often we don't even see it. It just blends into the background. But we want to make it even just a little bit better, a little bit more visually appealing. So the first thing I can try is this magic wand tool, right? Here I'll turn it off and then on. You can see the difference. It warms up the tones a little bit. Everything is just a touch brighter and more contrasty. Makes for a better photograph. Now, maybe I like that and I use it, maybe not. Remember that the third one down here, filters, I can, of course, always go to and boost things even a little bit more if I want, or make them into a beautiful black and white. I actually really like that quite a bit. I think I'm going to use the black and white. Now, I do notice down here, and I'll use my markup tools to show it. Down here, there is a distracting detail, right? I didn't quite get things framed up the way that I wanted to, and that little bit of the latch is sticking out there. So I'm going to use my cropping tool. Okay. Remember that this tool allows me to turn my photograph if I need to. It also allows me to resize. And I am going to drag from the corner, okay, and change the size of my photograph. And I want about the same top and bottom, and I'm looking at the distance from the handle, the corner of the handle, to the edge of the frame. There, that distracting detail is gone. Now, the other thing that I want to think about is my rule of thirds. Human beings really appreciate when things in a photograph are arranged in terms of thirds. And when I use the turning tool, it gives me a grid so that I can compare the verticals in my photograph to the verticals of the grid. But when I press on the corner and I'm going to resize, it gives me a grid that is divided into thirds. And if I come over here, I can line up the edges of the handle almost exactly with thirds. And I think if I do that, that actually makes for a much more interesting, right, much more visually appealing photograph. Okay, so we'll look at that in black for just a minute. A beautiful image of a handle, right? A surprising, maybe innovative look at something that is normally part of our everyday background. Okay. Please remember that you also have the option to go in and manually adjust lighter, darker. Okay. It's the same set of tools that the filters make use of, but the filters are an automated way to adjust contrast, tone, color. Okay. Lots of good tools, and of course, as I showed very briefly, the markup tools. Excuse the announcement. When you do your homework assignment, the personified photograph, you are, of course, going to make use of the markup tools, and if I was going to do that with this, I might flip it, It's a more interesting perspective. And I might come into the markup tools and start by adding eyes. I think it needs eyes. Here we go. We'll add some eyes. Yep. Not so much in blue, maybe in green. Maybe green eyes. Green eye, that's kind of fun. Yep. Definitely a red tongue. And maybe it's a really long tongue. That's going to have to come across. There we go. We'll make the end do that a little bit. And maybe that's enough. I could certainly keep going, but I have already added something to give that inanimate object a life of its own. I have personified it. And if you hear the word inside of the word, that is person or personality, right? And so to make a personality, to give a personality to something that wouldn't normally have it, is to personify. Okay, so that's coming up for homework on Google Classroom, due on Monday. Have fun with it. It is designed to be a very enjoyable